All right, let's get to guest number one of the evening. Super excited to have this lady, singer, songwriter. She got a song out called Painted Woman. It's out on all the platforms. I've been eager to interview this lady for quite a while, and she is on the air right now. Miss Carrie Shepherd is joining me right now. How's it going?
Hi, thanks for having me. It's going good.
Great to have you on. Appreciate you. I like to tell stories on this show. Before I get
Okay.
into the questions and such. So I've heard your name for years now. I keep hearing the name Carrie Shepherd, Carrie Shepherd. So I was trying to find Carrie Shepherd, see her perform in person. So this was probably a good 3 years ago. This was before the pandemic hit, obviously. I seen
Yeah.
you did an acoustic show. And I forget is you perform at this restaurant located in Richmond Road. I forgot the name of the place, but it was you and a male. Um,
Okay.
so it was in Lexington. Um, I'm trying to think the name. I'm trying to think of the name of the restaurant.
Oh,
Uh,
what is over there? Like a restaurant bar.
Restaurant bar, yeah,
O'Neill's maybe?
yeah, I believe
If it's
so.
over on Richmond Road. Yeah, that
Yeah,
would have been a little while ago.
yeah. But that was definitely about 3 years ago. The
Mhm.
first time I saw Carrie Shepherd. I don't think we spoke that day. Maybe a hi, an exchange of highs, hellos, but you definitely got my attention that day. I'll say one day I'm going to get Carrie Shepherd on this show.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
So I'm happy to have you on. And we'll definitely talk about your Painted Woman single. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But let's go
Okay.
back for a moment. How did you get into this thing called music? What got you into becoming an artist?
Yeah. Well, my family is super musical, and not my immediate family, but like extended. So my grandparents both play instruments, and it's kind of funny. Pretty much all of their children are either singers or talented artists, except my dad. So I guess it just skipped him and moved along to me. But I'd grown up just around really creative people. Um, and when I was really young, one of my aunts kind of sat me down and just did some like scales with me and realized that I could do it, when I was like three. So I feel like I was just kind of just always on that track to sing, and I did and sang a lot in school and church growing up. And, over the past, gosh, 6 or 7 years, I started to take it a little more serious and, started writing and trying to hone that craft and, started performing out and about more often. And then, that led to recording some of my original work. And here we are.
Pretty much. Definitely coming from a family, seeing them perform and singing. Thing about parents is that they're trying either try to get you a direction or it's something that you want to go for yourself, and definitely seemed like something that you wanted to do, and you haven't looked back ever since. Uh, just an incredible journey on your part. I'm reading your bio here on your website, carrieshepherd.com, and
Mhm.
it says, if I'm behind the wheel of a musician performance, you hear 80s hits, 90s pop and country, and a mix of modern jams. And your original music is often inspired by heavy hitting country female artists such as Mary Morris, who I love.
Yep.
I'm in
Mhm.
my feelings because she was supposed to be at Whalebird on the year that the pandemic hit. So if
Oh, I know. That
Whalebird
one
were to
hurt.
come back, so I'm in my feelings with that. I'm gonna need them to reschedule her appearance if it happens this year, of course. You also inspired by Miranda Lambert, no nonsense woman.
Mhm.
She's she don't bite her tongue for nobody. She got the song for the no nonsense people out there. She gonna hit you straight whether you like it or
Right.
not. And you also inspired by Carrie Underwood, who is just I say America's sweetheart per se,
Mhm.
complete opposite
Yep.
of Miranda perhaps. Uh, but
A little
just
sugar, a little spice.
yeah, a little some spice. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so what's it like to be inspired by these particular artists, Marin, Miranda, and Carrie? They all terrific in their own right, and they all bring something different to country music. So talk about being inspired by those three women.
Yeah, I feel like these ladies are the ones that really just hit me the most. I think Carrie is such a strong vocalist, and I try to have those moments in my songs, or even just those big vocal moments when I'm singing a cover, and I feel like that reminds me of her. And I think Miranda has some really hard hitting, just good, deep lyrics. Just stuff that makes you say, yeah. And she's got that kind of spice that I like, and I'm always dipping into that, or how to say the same thing that you've heard a million times, but a little spicier. And then I think my favorite thing about Marin, and I feel like I relate to this the most, is that she's found a way to make country music kind of bluesy, and I just really love her style and just take on what she does. And I feel like it hits such a wide audience, people that love country music or people that love pop. And I think those are that genre, that kind of cross genre, is what I tend to love the most, and what I try to really dip into myself. um always always kind of described my own style is how I would now describe Marin Morris. And so before she came on the scene, I never knew how to tell people what I was trying to do, or what I felt described me. And now it kind of helps, so I can say, do you like her? Then I feel like you're like what I'm doing. I feel like we're similar, stylistically at times. So yeah, I feel like those ladies put out songs that just get me going, and I just hope to be the same for somebody else.
Yeah, you definitely can tell that these ladies. Miranda's been around for a long time, and Carrie, she's
Mhm.
becoming the veteran herself, and Marin definitely the future. So you got the past, the present, and the future, and yet all three artists are still going. So
Right.
they're gonna be around for a very, very long time, and it feels like
Mhm.
woman in country music definitely making a lot of noise. Um, After all they've been through, trying to get the same respect as their male counterparts. The radio
Yep.
play, the performances, opportunity, the tours, opportunities, and it's still an ongoing battle, but at least people are paying attention now.
Yep.
And so that has to be very encouraging for you as a fellow female in country music.
It is for sure. Because like you said, female musicians in the country space, especially, feel like aren't given enough airtime. But to see these big names, make it and be supported, and show that there is room in the space for us gals, is really exciting and inspiring, and keeps me going, and gives me hope that there's room for more. Um, yeah, so just really hopeful.
Definitely hopeful indeed, and it's definitely opening doors for many more females, whether it's mainstream or whether it's independent artists. Just telling
Mhm.
them you're gonna go through hurdles, you're gonna go through adversity, you're gonna go through with people saying no. You just keep pushing, keep pursuing, and someone's gonna eventually say yes, and you go on from there. Um, I also see that you were a contestant on my favorite competitive show, The Voice, back in
I was. Yep.
2018 summer.
I
From my
know. I can't believe it's been that long now.
yeah, and from my understanding, your audition wasn't able to be on TV, but from what I've heard, you've had an experience. You even got a hug from Blake Shelton himself. Uh, so go. I know it was a while back, but just go if you can. Just talk about that experience. Just being on the show and seeing these big name artists and getting to audition. What was that experience like?
Oh man, it was huge. I mean, it's still one of the coolest things I've done in my life. Because you don't see a lot of the behind the scenes thing, but I was in LA for a couple weeks, preparing for this one moment. And I really bonded with the other contestants, and I just had, the summer of a lifetime. Unfortunately, they didn't show my audition on TV. The coaches didn't turn around, and I think a lot of that was due in part to song choice, which wasn't up to me. So I wish I would have stood my ground a little bit more on that. But I think I was just at the time a little too green, and just didn't want to rock the boat and was so excited to be there and be a part of it. I just wanted to, make all the higher ups happy. But, anyways, when it was all said and done and I
Yeah,
had the chance to, just chat with the coaches for a bit, they were all super, super sweet. And, Blake came up and gave me a hug, and I think I blacked out for just a minute. Just everything. It had been such a long day, and, I've been working for this moment. It didn't go the way I'd hoped it would, but still had some really supportive people, even, like I said, behind the scenes, that were really great. And thankfully my family was there, and, makes a hard moment not so hard after it's all said and done. But yeah, I have to say that the hug from Blake was pretty great.
Blake Shelton sure knows how to put a smile on faces and make people laugh
That's
too.
truth.
Um,
Oh yeah.
he's been on that show, I think, every single season now. He's the remaining original coach from season
Yep.
one. Everyone has come and goes. Some have come back, but Blake's still there. So you still get
Pretty
that
impressive.
country music element there. And
Mhm.
with Blake, he's won numerous times, and he brags about it every chance he can get. I will
Yeah.
miss I will miss the interactions between him and Adam Levine. I think that was one of the main reasons that I started watching this show. Just them two go back at each other, back and forth, like brothers and sorts. So it
Yeah, their
was,
friendship was fun to watch and
yeah,
really special, honestly.
yeah, their bromance was like no other. Like,
Mhm.
once you get those two together, the other coaches just let them be them, man. Just let them go at each other and just have a little
Yep.
fun. Just do that. So let's talk about your single, Painted Woman, which is available on all digital music platforms. Talk about recording this song and give us the story behind this track.
Yeah. The thing I love about this song is the story behind it. It kind of cracks me up. Um, I was meeting with a lady who was selling me health insurance, and she had talked about her time as a pharmaceutical sales rep. Wearing a lot of makeup and bouncing in and out of Eastern Kentucky, and she made the comment that people saw her as a painted woman. And, every so often I talk to somebody or, see someone else talking or hear a line or a couple words and it just hits me. And, I heard that phrase and I just knew I had to run with it. And, so I did. And, it's not necessarily this woman's story, but that's where I got, the idea to write and to think about, what a painted woman was or what I thought, this imaginary story should be. And I kind of, thought about painted women in life. And I think Marilyn Monroe kind of fits that vibe, or, even Dolly Parton, like just kind of being who you are, and either people are okay with it or they're not. Or, in Marilyn's case, it's like you kind of get to where you are and there's no chance to turn back. You just kind of own it and keep going. And so that's the kind of gist behind all that. And I just, once I started writing, it just was effortless. And I just think it's such a vocally big song, and I really love to sing it.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe to this day is still one of the most influential women of all time. And people still are inspired or influenced by her in some way, shape, or form, regardless of where you are in entertainment, where you are in life. She's definitely larger than life, and her stories everywhere. Like, she's truly a figure that once her name is brought up, you know who she is, and the star that she was. And Dolly Parton,
timeless.
Yeah, timeless indeed. And as for Dolly Parton, like, regardless what you feel about country music, everybody loves Dolly Parton. You can't hate Dolly Parton whatsoever. So I read a report recently, they're doing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she wrote a note recently appreciating the consideration, but she decided to drop out of consideration. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a prestige honor, and her career, her resume says she's a Hall of Fame, regardless, rock and roll, country, don't matter. She has a Hall of Fame caliber career, but in the most Dolly Parton way possible. She's like, I appreciate the love, but I don't think, I want this award or whatever. And she was generous about it and sincere. I'm like, okay, we cool. Whatever Dar wants, she gets. But in this case, whatever she don't want, we accept it. So, because that's Dolly Parton. She's just a genuine sweetheart. So, hopefully she definitely should be a Hall of Famer. Like, there's no denying it.
Absolutely.
So she's sensational indeed. So you got any upcoming shows? What's next? We're in the spring season already. Hopefully Kentucky will stop being some bipolar and give us some nice, decent weather in the coming weeks and months. But what do you have on the horizon? What's next for you in the coming weeks and months? What can people expect from Carrie Shepherd down the road?
Yeah, I'm always playing around town. I think my next show is April 7th, playing at Cocktails 2. Always love to be there. And then, just besides singing out and about live, I'm constantly working on new music. So I've got a tune kind of on deck, and I'm just tweaking some things. I get really nitpicky at the end of the recording process. So just kind of fine tuning that song and making sure I'm happy with it. And then it'll be released. So, I anticipate that will be out sometime in April. So I'm really, really excited for that, because it's a little more upbeat than a couple of my other tunes that are currently out. So I'm really excited for, something fresh and something I feel like people haven't seen from me yet.
Okay, that's awesome. Because from some of the songs I've heard, you are quite the powerhouse when it comes to the ballads.
Thank you.
You got them
Yeah.
ballads that just get everybody going, and once they get to that part when you're really hitting them notes, it's like, oh, she went there. She did.
Yeah.
You gonna get these feelings, one way or another. Um,
I love it.
so the album cover of Painted Woman is very
Hmm.
Marilyn Monroe esque. You
Yeah.
also taking a picture in front of the legendary Kentucky Theater, which is right here in downtown Lexington. Tell us a little bit about shooting, doing the photo shoot for the cover.
Yeah, I knew, like I told you some of the background of the song. And so, like this character that I felt like I was writing felt like, almost a starlet. So that was kind of the idea to portray that in the single
Yeah,
artwork. And I knew that the Kentucky Theater was the place to do it. And I really love how it turned out. I thought it was so awesome. And, additionally, it was really cool. I shot some video footage for the song in the dressing room of the Lyric Theater. So I felt like just all these historic places here in town, special to where I'm from and special to me. It was really cool to make those, a part of the
yeah.
song and a part of the song's promotion and journey. And that it was just really cool to be able to incorporate those spots.
It is a wonderful cover, I will say.
Thanks.
So it felt like it could be the cover of a movie, literally. Feel like you could be starring
Yeah.
in your own movie, on the bottom of Carrie Shepherd, and
I love it.
anyone that has not been in a Kentucky theater, please go check it out. It is prestigious. I've been there several times myself. It's a legendary. It's when you think of downtown Lexington, you think of Rupp Arena, you think of some other places, but Kentucky Theater is where it's at. Just given the longevity and the history behind that theater. A lot has happened in that theater. So go check it out. If you're visiting Lexington or you've been in Lexington for a while, you've never been there before, definitely worth to a place that worth to go to. Um, Check out Painted Woman by Carrie Shepherd, available on all the platforms. Her next performance, April the 7th. That's a couple weeks away at Cocktails 2. Another lovely spot. Get your drinks in, and get the requests in there. I may have to come through on the 7th.
Yeah, come see
So
me.
I may have to come through and check you out again because it's been far too long since I last seen Carrie Shepherd in person. So maybe we'll actually
Yeah.
see each other this time,
I love it. I hope so.
So thank you so much, Kara, for your time. Look forward to hearing so much more from you in the future, and I appreciate you being on the show this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me.